Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Streamed and Screened, an entertainment podcast about movies and TV from Lee Enterprises. I'm Terry Lipshetz, managing editor of the National Newsroom at Lee, and co-host of the program with Bruce Miller, a longtime entertainment reporter and a space enthusiast, right? You've just landed. You've come back from Mars.
Man, I know where I'm going because I know I've already been there. Is it year 2050 yet or whatever? I don't even know what the time frame is, but yes, I have been For All Mankind.
Yes.
And you like that show. You watched that show.
Goodness, it is, of everything Apple TV Plus has done, it might be my favorite show. It is so good. Just the whole, like, I've always been into sci-fi. I've always enjoyed kind of history, right? So I minored in history in college. So the alternate reality blended with the sci-fi and the moon landing and just all of that. You know, it's so much fun. I always love the beginning of kind of each episode where they'll show different things that either happened in real life or didn't happen. You know, they'll have things like apparently John Lennon survived in this alternate. So I think they had like a Beatles reunion snippet at some point in a past season. You know, obviously we've had different presidents because we followed a different timeline. We had a female president in the 1980s, you know. So it's all these little things. It's just a lot of fun. And then seeing how things have diverted, you know, like you always wonder, if I would have done this, right? If I did this instead of this, what would have happened? So just the premise of the Russians beat us to the moon sets off a space race like no other, to the point where here we are. What is this, season 5 now we're going into? I've lost track, and we're on the moon. You know, we've got a moon base and there's tensions and all this stuff. So, or no, I'm sorry, not even a moon base. We're past the moon base. We're on Mars now, right? So it's been fun. I've loved it. It's interesting because I think, what are we down to? Like one original character, two, something like that?
I think it's a couple. I think a man and a woman are still original, but because of the time jump, I think we're 10 years out from the last time.
Yeah.
And they're looking tough. Like this could be their last season.
Right.
You know,
Yes.
I hate, they're younger than you, Bruce. So, you know, that's what you think. But they look older, and the makeup is such they do look older. But they're bringing on a whole new bunch. So if you're new to this whole world, this might be the time to start, because they fill you in on enough of the plot line so you understand, and they kind of give a newsreel of things that have happened, and they use AI to their advantage, because if they had a certain person as president, you have that person in their voice saying presidential things. It isn't taken from an old clip or something. So that's kind of fun. But I got to talk with 4 of the newcomers.
Ooh.
And they weren't hardcore fans, but then they suddenly did a lot of their research and realized, wow, I think I like this concept. This is good. And I got a chance to talk to them. So let's listen to Sean Kaufman and Ruby Cruz. And Ruby, if you might need a little heads up, is the daughter of Brandon Cruz, who was the kid in Courtship of Betty's Father.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, here's Sean and Ruby.
It's so good to see you guys. Forgive me, I'm just trying to turn off the stupid phone so it doesn't go off at work.
Oh no, it's all right.
Okay.
I hate technology more than anything.
Yeah, turn it off and then smash it with a hammer. Then it'll never bother you again.
Let's do that, shall we? Tell me, were you fans of this show before you got on it?
No. Well,
I hadn't seen it yet.
Yeah, I don't think I was not a fan. I just had not seen it.
I just hadn't seen it. Yeah.
So what was the learning curve? How much did you have to catch up to know what's going on?
Quite a bit. Quite a bit. It's, you know, the alternate realities.
Span life, like seasons, many seasons.
It was the kind of thing where I had to remind myself constantly. I was like, who's the president?
Right.
Like, okay, this person's still alive?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. It was one that I feel like I constantly had to remind myself, like, but I will say the show does a great job of that. So just watching all the seasons was so informative.
Okay, then did you get advice from the veterans on this show? Did you say, okay, now tell me a little bit about this, or how should I be in this scene?
Yeah, I mean, most of the time it was me being like, so like, how does this work? And then them being like, dude, relax. Like, you're gonna be fine. Coral was a great
Yeah.
like mentor kind, I don't know if she'd like me using that word, but she was great on set. She was just so like, guys, it's easy. We'll help you. Just take your time, take up your space.
Do you feel like you're going to be the ones carrying this into another decade?
I hope so.
I hope so. Yeah. God.
Yeah. I love it's such a rare thing for a show to see characters through so many different stages in their lives. That was such a huge part of like what drew me to the show in the first place. Was like, oh my gosh, as an actor, you get to see these characters in times of their lives that you never would have imagined, or you would only have imagined. And then now actually getting to see it through. And I think that'd be such a cool opportunity.
Yeah.
Did you think about how would I change time if I could do it? If I could go back and say, oh, this is different. Did you?
What?
I'll mess with time like that.
No, yeah, I'm not. Once I learned about the butterfly effect when I was like little, I was like, got it. Everything happens for a reason.
Exactly. We are all here because we are a product of all the small decisions and mistakes we've made.
Mhm.
And anything that would have changed would have made me not me.
I'm not touching it.
I want to be me. I like
Mhm.
So would you like to go into space?
Also, no.
I'm with you on that. I am with you on that. I do not
Yeah.
want to see some whatever.
I would love to meet an alien,
Really?
although maybe on my own planet.
The alien would have to come and visit you. Not
Wait,
you-
now I'm thinking about that. I don't know about that. Maybe I don't know.
Would you go to like
What do we
the
mean
moon?
in the middle? Yes.
Yeah, would you like
we
to
go to the moon, huh?
I love the moon. I worship.
Why?
Why?
Yeah.
It's so beautiful.
It
power?
looks like nothing there.
Well, but it's so powerful in terms of like it controls directly, works with our oceans and works with, and we are 97% water. How much water is in us? Right? We humans are so much water. It's like it definitely is working with us and is controlling parts of us that I definitely am aware of.
Would you want to visit the moon in a moon suit, or would you want to be able to just kind of walk around like you are now?
Give it a hug. Skin to skin contact. I would do that. I'd rip my suit right off. I'd just
Come here, big guy. Come here.
Yeah, that's
Where's
right.
the cheese? Come on.
Yeah.
Where do you see this? I mean, do you know where it's all headed? Do they tell you no?
They don't tell us anything.
They're actually the most secretive group I've ever worked with.
I think it's because they know we're blabbermouths, and that's on us. But they don't.
Stop talking to the press.
Oh,
To you.
Right? Is it fun to do?
Oh yeah. Oh my God. It's
Do you
like
enjoy your life?
It is like most fun. It is. We are in
Good.
spacesuits all day,
Yeah.
playing pretend that we're on a different planet.
Mm-hmm.
There are people out there who
Mm-hmm.
are suffering so much right now and going
Yeah,
through
that's
such
true.
hard times on this planet and in this country. It is hard not to look at what we do and just be like, we're the luckiest people on earth and we're having the most fun,
Yeah, I see that. I see that indeed. And there's an expectation for both of you, because A, this has a huge following, and B, it's talking about a future that a lot of us don't think is going to happen. I mean, that we wouldn't see a future.
Mhm.
So it's very hopeful in that respect.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's a fantastic what if, and I think it's a wonderful what if about we fund science. What if we
Mhm.
continue to fund these projects and this like an art form, this science and exploration And there's a lot of stuff that I think is currently being, cut and taking funding from. But I think it's an exploration of, if we continue to pursue these passions, what can mankind achieve?
One last question. Were you big fans of space growing up? Because there was a generation that was a huge thing. And then I think it kind of disappeared.
I like Star Wars.
Mm. Yeah, Star Wars was huge in my household. I did love space too. I do remember I got really obsessed with black holes for a while.
And
I
then
remember
I started living in one. No.
Oh God, yeah. I just remember learning that like it happens at such a oh God, I learned this when I was so young, but it just technically, if you watched someone enter a black hole, like you would just watch them infinitely because of how time and space works. Like it's just happening so instantaneously that it never really happens when you're watching it. I don't even remember I remember someone telling me this when I was young, and I was just like,
You're going to the moon. Come on. We've already lined you up for that. So you don't have like,
a lot to learn.
hey, thank you guys so much, and good luck with this. And I can hardly wait to see you in old makeup. I'm excited for that. So
We're getting ready.
for me, okay?
Ready.
Oh yes, I've been working on it.
I'm counting on you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Bruce.
Thank you, Bruce. Nice to
Have a
meet you.
beautiful day.
Thanks, Bruce, for that set of interviews. But you also talked to another pair of actors,
This
right?
is the interesting thing. Yes, Ines is from she's from a European country, and I'm drawing a blank right now. But it said that she was an art director, and I thought, art director and an actor, do those go together? And I had to ask about that. But then I also had heard that Barrett was had done the stunt show at the Disney World. You know, the Indiana Jones stunt show.
Oh, yeah.
And I was off the base on that one, totally. But anyway, this is Ines Asserson and Barrett Carnahan, and they're also two of the new ones that are in this season.
Hey, Bruce.
Is it Ines or Inez?
Ines.
Inez. Okay. This is so fascinating. You must tell me, though, what it's like to be an art director and an actor.
Oh my gosh. You know what? That is so unearned. It really is. I mean, I wish if it maybe another position, if that was, I worked props department for my friend's short film in college. And he was very diligent. He put it on IMDb, and then suddenly now I'm an art department, art director.
I love that. That's a great combo. Who else do you know who would do that?
Oh my goodness! Yoni Azuli, everyone. He is a good one. Bluestone Pictures. He's right on. But I didn't deserve that credit because I didn't do.
Oh, I'm sure you did something to earn the credit.
She moved a plant is what she did, and then said, okay, there, I've art directed the thing,
I
right?
did.
Yes.
Barrett, a quick one for you, Barrett, because it just bugs me. Were you Indiana Jones at Disney World?
No, where did you hear that?
I was told that you were in the Indiana Jones stunt show.
I was a volunteer in the Indiana Jones stunt show. And I got the wardrobe on, and the assistant director picked somebody out of the crowd to do a death scene, and he goes, and I did the whole thing where I was stumbling and falling around and getting shot with poisonous darts, and I did a fall, and then I rolled on my head all the way around the body, just like I had seen the other stunt guy do in the show for years and years before him. So I kind of took his thunder, but that show is incredible, and it is still a goal of mine to this day to be Indiana Jones in that stunt show. I really want to do it.
See, this could help you. This little show could help you. I'm just putting it out there. Were you both space fans before this or not?
I mean, I love space films. I mean, Interstellar is an incredible film. The Martian is an incredible film. I feel like The Martian is also somewhat like connected with this in terms of the love for the science and the what ifs of everything, right?
There's a lot more camaraderie than in that movie. So we have more friends than just potatoes and ketchup.
This is true.
But yeah, no, I love The Martian. I still have yet to see Project.
Were you fans of this series before you got on it, or had you not seen it?
It was on my list of shows that I was going to watch because I love space history and exploration and stuff like that. I just hadn't gotten around to watching it, and then when I booked it, I had the excuse to give it a watch.
Yeah. I also, I mean, I hadn't seen it, but I just devoured season after season when I got started, and it was so incredible. And just I quite forgot that I was going to be part of it. So then when you start reading scripts, you're like, oh, oh gosh,
Yeah.
I get to be part of it.
Yeah.
But you don't know how things end. That's the
Mhm.
problem.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think about changing history? What could happen? If so and so were president or whatever it was, or do you not think about that?
I definitely think about that.
Yeah.
I really do. I mean, I do think that there's like everything is so connected, and there are minuscule coincidences that has probably made huge impacts on why things happen for a reason, but it's impossible to track it, obviously. But I just know in terms of people in our lives that we've met by just a slimmer of a chance, and then so just the idea of
Yeah, just the simple thought of like, what would have happened if I didn't meet this person?
yeah,
Like
right.
if my janitor didn't tell me that they were making a movie in Weirton, West Virginia, and I didn't go and be an extra in it, and it ended up being Super 8 by J.J. Abrams, I would have never met this girl that was also an extra, and she was my wife, and we wouldn't have 2 kids today.
That's where you
Come
met.
on, you're kidding. It's like that.
Yeah, that's how we met.
That's
But like if he didn't say that, if he didn't come up to me and say, "Hey, they're making you like movies, right? They're making a movie over in Weirton, West Virginia."
Where they
Have my 2
talk
babies
about
there.
there's
Like it's
always
just little things like that that just make you wonder.
there's the right person for you, and you think, well, there's a world of people. How do I know that I'm in the right place to meet that person? And you're proof.
Mhm.
right.
Yeah.
So
I do
that
believe in soulmates.
is she an actor too then as well?
No, she's not.
So she has to keep you grounded.
She Yes, but yeah, she's active on TikTok though.
Just
Nina Carnahan, check her out.
Should I check her out? Okay,
Yeah.
sounds good. Well, tonight she'll just blow up like crazy.
Yeah.
Did you ask for advice from the people who'd been on the show? Did you say, can you give me a little clue on this or what we need to know? And what did they tell you?
I mean, I was so lucky, like the way I got to talk to some of the cast after a reading that we did. And it was just great. I mean, again, such a supportive group of people, and people who know the ropes, know how, because they love to work with similar directors on this show. So they also have like an intimate relationship with all the actors and the cast. I mean, which is why like the character works like in this
Sure.
show. It's very thorough, and it's very kind of present, I think, in the show. So I got some tips on how to stand up for like what I think is right, and argue what I think is like I can have a voice with it to be part of the collaboration, which I think is amazing. And it's not with such a big show. I think that's not a given always.
Barrett, did you ask advice from others?
I kind of carved my own path. I felt like Haskell was kind of a character that maybe there hadn't been really a character like him before.
Sure.
I'd want to say the closest thing is like maybe Ed in an aspect of it. But yeah, I kind of just took the reins myself. It was fun to watch the show and get a feeling of what had kind of come before. But also Haskell was kind of in his own bubble at the same time. Same with you.
Mhm.
Like I got to have like one scene where I was on the same set as Ed. And so I didn't get the chance to mingle with all these legacy characters the way that maybe I would if I was a different character. But that just kind of made it more thrilling.
Yeah.
Being thrown into the deep end of the pool is like, well, no, you have your own thing going on over here. Like the two of us, like, oh, we're Earthside.
Yeah. Yeah, there's so many storylines as well in this show that is so amazing. I mean, there's so many things going on at once, and it's such a vast gallery of people. So unfortunately, we don't get to hang out with everyone in the
Sure.
cast. You know what I mean? But it's really fun to now, I've seen the season that we did, and then to be like, that's what's going on.
Wow, look
you
at
know?
that. Wow.
Holy me. Thank you guys so much. Great good luck. And Indiana Jones, I'm counting on it.
Thank you. I know that's a bucket list.
That's cool.
We're
In
there
fact,
for you.
Yeah.
Just remember, we talked about it, so
Yeah.
it'll
Yeah.
happen.
So,
Okay.
Kevin Broussard is the OG indie at that show, and he and I are like
Okay.
this. So
Very good.
yeah, Kevin Broussard.
Thanks, Bruce, for that. I'm excited. I'm just so pumped for this show. I was looking it up, and I think we're down to 2 original actors. So it's Joel Kinnaman, who plays Ed Baldwin, and I know he was looking long in the tooth in season 4. So I can only imagine he's got to be almost 100 years old in this timeline, right? I mean, it's
Well, that's why I said he looked old,
yeah.
but it's a lot of makeup. I know he's sitting in the makeup chair a long time.
Right. And then the other actor was Ren Schmidt, who plays Margot Madison. And if you recall from that, she was an early NASA administrator. She was part of like the launch teams of the early Apollo stuff, and then became like the head of NASA, but then ended up having to defect to the Soviet Union because she was sending, because there was that flaw. Remember when the spaceship Challenger exploded in our timeline, but in the show's timeline, Challenger survived because they discovered what went wrong, and she shared because the Soviets were developing their own space shuttle, and she shared with them how they fixed the flaw, which basically means we were sharing intelligence with an adversary. So she was going to be arrested, charged with, I guess, espionage and all that, and ended up defecting to the Soviet Union, where she then went on to kind of help their space team. So, and again, she was pretty young in season 1, but like Ed Baldwin, I think she was younger than Ed Baldwin in the series, but not by a whole lot, 5-10 years, something like that. So yeah, we're getting to the point where if there's going to be a season 6, I haven't seen yet. I don't know if you've seen anything, if they've picked it up for another season, but
Well, now they're real hot about the spin-off show.
and that's coming quick, right?
That's going to be in May.
Yep.
And I talked with the producers about that, and they said it gave them even more opportunity to play the what if game. And they said they're having a ball with it. They cannot do the crossovers though, because of the time frame is different. So the original actors that you might have seen in the first seasons of For All Mankind are not going to be the same ones, but they might have the same name.
Okay.
So they've recast for this Star City, and that comes in May. So look for that. It'll be another one that you'll be, and hopefully we'll talk to some of those people when the time comes. But
yeah, I'm pretty pumped for that, because anything, it's kind of like Game of Thrones, right? Now we're at that point where they're giving us 2 different Game of Thrones series simultaneously.
It's like your Star Wars,
right? If you can give me 2 For All Mankind series simultaneously, I will keep my Apple TV Plus subscription indefinitely. Right? Just keep them coming.
So there's their pitch line right there.
There it is. Keep Terry subscribed. Give him more For All Mankind.
But how have you even had time to watch TV? Because you've been in New York.
I've been in New York. Yeah, I just got back. I was with the high school choir. I have twin daughters, which I've mentioned before, but one of them is in choir. And we went, it was mostly choir kids. There were some theater kids joined us as well. I can tell you, I was a chaperone. I can tell you, choir and theater kids are the least troublesome I could possibly. There was no problems here. Like they were all, I had a group of boys in rooms across from me, so I'd have to do the knock on door at 10 o'clock at night, like, you guys getting in bed, and I could tell they seemed deathly afraid of me, which is exactly what I wanted. But it was good. I do not recommend taking a coach bus 1,000 miles.
Yeah, that's long.
Not comfortable. It would have been. We stopped at a rest area in Ohio, and I was having lunch with my daughter, a couple of her friends, and one of the moms who I knew. I've known her for years because I've coached her daughter in basketball and softball. And we were chatting, and she says, like, "Can I say it now? if we would have flown, we would have been there by now, right? And it's like, yeah, I'm with you.
Raise a little more money and you're there,
Oh
right?
man, I would have happily paid $200 extra just for a plane ticket, but it was fine. We didn't have, it wasn't a huge group. We had I think it was 28 students, 7 chaperones, the choir teacher, and the 2 bus drivers, and then we picked up a tour guide in New Jersey that was with us for the whole week. So it was great. It was a lot of fun. I got to do some of the touristy things with my daughter. The last time she was in New York, she was 15 years ago when she was about 4 months old.
Oh man.
So
Did she acknowledge you, or was this dad's dead to me? I don't want to have anything to do with him.
well, I had money to help pay for lunch and some
Oh, so
souvenirs. So
dad,
she
dad.
yeah, exactly. No, it was fine. We had a good time. It was fun for me because I got to show her my hometown. I was born in New York City, and before moving to New Jersey and
Yeah.
where I grew up. But we saw Ellis Island. Ellis Island is a little disappointing because a lot of it was under renovation. The whole first floor was closed, and then some of the exhibits on the second and third floors were closed. So we did that. We went to the 9/11 museum. That was still hard for me to be
Yeah,
in.
it's tough. It's
It's
tough.
tough, and it still hits hard for me. I knew it wasn't a friend of mine. His friend of my brother's was killed on 9/11. We were in that hall where they had all the photographs of everyone that was
Yes.
killed that day, and I looked up and I saw his picture there, and it's like, oh my god. Luckily I saw that at the end, and but I was basically, um, I was kind of done after about an hour, and I felt suffocated, honestly, being in there.
You could spend as much time as you want there because there's a lot to see. But
Yeah,
I don't know that it's a lot that you would just want to see because you're absorbing a lot of information that isn't really heartfelt. I mean,
right.
the
I
best thing about that is that people cannot deny that it happened because
Exactly.
there's proof right there.
Absolutely. It's a really, and I don't want to criticize. That's not what I'm trying to do. It's just for me as a native New Yorker, somebody who was there when the buildings were hit, um, it, someone who knew a victim, know people who knew victims, knew my dad who was working in the city at the time and had a hard time getting out of the city that day. I was at the top of the World Trade Center just 6 months earlier when some relatives came out. So it hits home really hard. I think if I were to go back with my full family to New York, if my wife wanted to see the museum, and my other daughter who hadn't been there, I would tell her, like, I'm gonna drop you off. Yes, I will never. Yeah, no, I won't ever step foot in that museum again because it's just too much for me.
You know,
And
and
yeah,
it's too bad because you go, this really needs to be seen,
right.
but I can't emotionally take it.
I can't. I was like I would take like 3 steps and getting choked up and about to cry again. So it's one of those things where I was glad I was able to go into it, but it's only something I ever need to step foot into it once, and I'll be like, honey, you take Lexi, I'll take Claire. We're gonna go record shopping, and you're gonna go into the 9/11 museum, and I'll meet you back in about 2 hours. How about we do that?
Everybody should see it once.
Yeah, absolutely,
No,
totally agree.
everybody
Yep,
needs to see it twice, but everybody should go once. And
definitely.
when they have like a street reconstructed of what it looked like with all this
Mhm.
ash in there,
Oh
and
yeah.
that is hard to take because
Yes.
you think I think I recognize this place.
Mhm.
I this is more than just ash. It's somebody, and then you see the names, the I don't know what you call it. It's not a fountain. It's not a reflecting pond, but there's this big hole where one
Right.
of the towers was, and then they
Yeah.
have all the names around it outside that
Mhm.
everybody can go to. You don't have to go to the museum to see that. But that to me is so hard to
Yep.
just even fathom because you think, oh my God, this is somebody's mom or dad or
Right.
brother or sister or son, and that's hard to take. But if we ever
Yeah.
have people who want to um say that these things are not in our past, they are. And
Yeah.
we don't need to have revisionist history like For All Mankind
Right.
to change the narrative on that. I think
Yeah.
it needs to always be part of our story, if you will.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we ended
Okay,
up
so
we
wait a
went to the Intrepid Museum, which is a military museum on
The
an
kids
old
must have loved that.
yeah, it was it's an old aircraft carrier. It's pretty cool. I'd been there, I think, on a Cub Scout trip as a kid. So that was pretty neat to see. One of the space shuttles is on the aircraft carrier too. So that's I can't remember which one.
Where
Atlantis?
did you lose the
Enterprise.
kids? Where do they kind of, zone out and go, oh, I don't want this?
You know what? They were all pretty good. I don't recall us like where like we were zipping around back and forth on I think it was day 2 and we were in Times Square and I think we had walked like 9 miles that day. So I think they were kind of losing it then. But they were really good. We did a behind the scenes tour of Radio City Music Hall. We got to meet a Rockette, which was fun. We saw Top of the Rock. What's that?
Did you get pictures with the Rockette?
My daughter did. I didn't need to be in
What?
there.
Or you've
Yeah.
got to be in there
Oh, I
with an
know.
arm around
Oh.
her waist.
No, there
Yeah.
was no touching the Rockette.
Oh.
There was space between the common folk and the Rockette.
Oh, man.
Yeah, we did shopping at the Lego store, the Nintendo store, the new FAO Schwartz. It's not like going to the old one.
Yeah, not as good. That and stinky. It's real
Yeah.
dinky.
Yeah.
What were the kids all buying? What did they come home with?
So much crap. It was like I kind of felt bad. I think there needs to be some discussion with parents in the future of like explaining to kids budgeting and things like that, because there was kids walking around with these giant bags filled with things like stuffed animals, and it's like, do you really need this? And it's expensive. New York is so expensive. I went to eat. We went in Rockefeller Center. I found a pizza place because like we got to find somewhere cheap to eat for lunch because it can add up. And I paid for lunch for myself and my daughter. We each had 2 slices of cheese pizza, so there was no toppings or anything like that. And we each had 2 bottled drinks, and it was $31. So that's cheap for New York City, right? We were at Chelsea Market on the last day. And we ate at a little like diner, and I had a half of a pastrami sandwich with a bowl of matzo ball soup, and it was $22. It's just so obscenely expensive. So, excuse me. So the budgeting is something you really got to work with on these kids.
You say, kids, we could fly if
Yep.
you didn't buy all this junk.
I know. But we were back in we went up to Central Park and we saw the Imagine mosaic in the strawberry fields across from the
Did that
Dakota.
register with them, or did they go, who's the
No,
Beatles?
they know, they're choir kids. They know the music, so that was kind of cool. We went up to Harlem. We couldn't go into the Apollo because it's under renovation, $80 million. But
Oh,
we
wow.
met with somebody next door. He's the spokesperson for the Apollo. So if anything ever big happens at the Apollo, I think his name is Billy Mitchell. He's the one that talks to the media. But he's been tied to the Apollo since the 1960s when he was a kid. And he told us his story of how he got associated. He was basically running errands and getting food, and he was meeting like James Brown, and he's the same age as Stevie Wonder, and he saw like Stevie Wonder, you got to meet him. Like I think he said James Brown, and there was one other guy actually paid for his tuition to go to college.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so it was an incredible story. And then he talked to, if you remember the old show, Showtime at the Apollo, he encouraged some of the kids to come down and kind of perform. And they did these little performances, and there was no booing. It's not like the Apollo where you boo people off the stage. He's like, we're only gonna be positive here. But they really got a kick out of that. So that was a lot of fun. And then we also we saw Hadestown on our last day. But before that morning, we went to a studio where they did this exercise where they had a musician in who does musical coaching and stuff like that for Broadway. He's like a Broadway musician. And one of the former actors from the Broadway show of Hadestown came in too. And they learned a song from start to finish, and then went through all the parts of it and learned how to, what to hit and what not to hit and this, that, and the other. And then at the very end got to perform it with the Broadway performer. And she's not on the show right now, but she gets to come back if somebody's sick or on vacation to call her back and be like, hey, because she was on the show for about 4 years during its run. Like from 2020, 2021 up until about 2024 or so. The cool thing there too, she tried out for the original cast, right? Didn't make it, kept on trying out again and again and again and again. Didn't get it. She was telling a story. She was on the traveling version of Frozen and in New Orleans, and they called her like, hey, we want you to come in tomorrow to perform an audition. So she flies up at like 4 a.m, lands in Jersey, gets to New York at 10 a.m, does her audition, flies back to New Orleans, does Frozen at 8 p.m, and then finds out that she sort of got the role, but her agent told her she didn't get the role because Disney has a 2-week out on their contracts, and Hadestown needed her immediately, and or no, sorry, Disney needed 4 weeks, and Hadestown needed her within 2, I think it was, and they didn't want to mess up the relationship with Disney, so they told her she didn't get the role, even though she did, and I'm thinking like, if I would have found that out, I'm finding new representation, right? But because you're not advocating for her at that point, but anyway, she eventually, because of that persistence, she ended up getting a role. So it was super cool to see that, and then we saw 2 Broadway shows. Maybe Happy Ending. You saw that one, right?
Loved it.
Oh my
Yes.
God, this might have been. I've seen so many Broadway shows, mostly off Broadways as like the traveling versions, but I've seen so many. It was so simple. So there's only 4 actors in the whole thing, and it's amazing. I told my wife and my daughter who didn't come, I'm like, as soon as this thing travels, we're going to it again because you will love it. It was so good.
Okay, the thing though that people don't understand is that on Broadway they can have everything.
Right.
And that simple little set that they have has a lot of moving pieces.
Oh yeah.
Where it's going to give you the focus of what you should be watching.
Right.
And it's about 2 robots
Yeah,
basically
I know.
who have to try and deal with life after they've been kind of put out to pasture.
Yeah.
And their friendship that grows. It's so heartwarming and simple.
Right.
Heartwarming and simple.
Yeah.
And Darren Criss, if you know from Glee,
Right.
is in it. He won the Tony last year for best actor in a musical. And yeah, I can't say enough about it. It's
Yeah.
I love that show. I think it's very cute.
Yeah, of the 4 actors, I think only the female role, Claire, that was the only one that's been recast since the original. So it's still the original cast for the most part.
Yeah, well, and that in the thing, there's a guy that they kind of listen to his records, and he doesn't really interact with them. He's kind of off doing his own thing, where he's like this 50s lounge singer is what I see him
Yeah.
as. But yeah, and then there's a plant in there that I think is so cool, and were you able to you could buy it in the gift shop if
Yeah.
you want.
Yeah, you
Was
could.
it
Yeah.
scale?
Yeah, I think the choir teacher ended up buying the plant as a memento, which is super cool. Yeah.
I would find that it probably died. Well, you guys on that trip back,
Right.
it could go, but
Yeah, no, it
and then
was fun.
you saw
Yeah.
Hadestown, and then when they sang that song, were the kids all excited?
Yeah, it was pretty neat because it's the main like Down in Hadestown song.
Way down.
Down in Hades. Yeah, so it was that one, but it was cool because they recently switched over the cast in that again. And again, like if you're going to a Broadway show, this isn't like B-list actors, right? So the new Orpheus character is Joshua Colley, and he was on one of the Descendants. Like my daughter knew who he was from watching the Descendants on Disney Plus. And then the other Hades right now is Gary Dourdan, and he's been in like Alien Resurrection, but he was on like CSI forever. He was the main character on the first like 8 seasons. So I mean, it's super cool when you're seeing people that you've seen before. So it was fun. That show, Hadestown, I didn't love it. It's hard. It was hard to follow because it was just going one song to the next, and I wish I would have listened to to the cast recording before, because then I think I would have had a better appreciation of it. Like if you drop me in it right now, I would be better. I would probably like it more. But it was a little tough to follow at times. And then it was like this was the last thing we did during a very long week, and it was a little bit warm in the theater, and I'm just like my eyelids are
This is a nap.
I
I
so
can-
desperately need to pass out right now, and I'm just fighting to stay awake. And then we had the excitement of Ben Affleck was in the theater.
Here's the thing. This is the game that you can play when you're in New York.
Yep.
Is who's sitting in the theater now? Because
Right.
if you get there early enough, you'll see who's arriving, or maybe they usually will sit on the edges of the orchestra, the middle
Yeah.
part.
Right. That's where he
And-
was. Yeah.
Look for those because they want to run out real fast so
Yep.
nobody grabs them and says, let's take a picture.
Yeah.
And then there usually is somebody coming over to visit with them during the intermission so that then you can't go and hit them up.
Right.
But it is fun to see who was there the night you were there.
Yep.
And I had Martin Short and Andrea Martin were at one of the shows I saw last year. And
Uh-huh.
they were like 2 rows in front of me. And I heard somebody go up to Martin Short and they said, can we get a picture after the show? And he says, I'm looking forward to it. And I thought, that's a way of handling it. And then you sneak out the side door and never see the person again. I
Right.
don't know. But it's a nice way of not kind of turning the person off because you can see
Yeah.
if they start in the theater, it's chaos.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Well, and I think where he got spotted too was it's a small theater, because that's what if you've never been to Broadway, most of your theaters, if you go to a theater in your town where they have the traveling Broadway productions, these are large theaters, right? It's like 2,000, 2,500.
Right.
Broadway theaters are like 800, 900. They're small, and there's not a lot of restroom and somebody saw Ben Affleck is human like the rest of us. He had to use the restroom at intermission, and somebody saw him, and I guess a few people went up to him like, hey, can we get a picture or a autograph? And he's like, no, and then kind of went about his business because he's Ben Affleck.
well, imagine I would never drink anything if I were a celebrity trying to go to the bathroom
Right.
because you'd never be left alone. But it is fun to kind of spot the stars
Yes.
because they're there and they are there even now.
Right.
You go to any show any night. But those are one I don't care to see. I care to go backstage after the show
Yeah.
and meet the ones who are in the show. Did you get to stage door any of those people or not?
We had to loiter for the bus after Hadestown, and a few of the actors came out to sign. So I snapped a few pictures. I saw Orpheus come out, which was cool. So and a few people wanted to get autographs, but we had to kind of like get to our bus because
Yeah, if everybody's gonna do it, then we all have to do it, or we're not gonna. Nobody's gonna do it.
exactly. And
Yeah.
the bus is basically double parked in New York, so there's no waiting for it. So we all had to kind of shuttle back, but I snapped a few photos. It was cool to see them. I mean, and they were very friendly. They came out and were posing for pictures and signing things. If I can get back to New York and see a show on my own, I would absolutely wait and try to get some autographs afterwards.
The
Definitely.
one that is just a zoo, is The Outsiders because it
Right.
has a young cast,
Mm.
and there are kids who just go to stand in line. They don't go to the show. They stand in line just to meet the cast and get autographs and whatnot and interact.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, you should go to the show. Harry Potter is there, Daniel Radcliffe, in a one-man show, and he's very good about talking to the audience.
Mm.
But if you want to get an autograph from him or a selfie, you have to show your ticket before you can get in a line to stand to see him and stand.
Oh,
So
good.
it is kind of a protocol. But then you also went to the Broadway Museum, which is a relatively new, not brand new, but relatively new thing. And
Yeah.
if you're a hardcore Broadway person, that's a must. It's a
Oh,
must.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was probably one of my favorite stops that we made museum wise. It's super cool to see the props and the costumes and Tony Awards and all those old script pages. Really neat to go into. They had a really nice gift shop. I ended up buying my daughter who didn't come with us is a huge Hamilton freak. And I bought her the Hamilton book, which has the whole
good.
the whole script in it, all the songs, but it has photos and the backstory and everything from Lin-Manuel Miranda. So she was pretty stoked when I got home and gave it to her. So yeah, it was fun. It was
yet nothing.
She didn't want anything. I bought some ornaments for the Christmas tree. Like when we go on trips, we'll get Christmas ornaments because they're small, they're inexpensive, they're easy to pack. And then I bought some things just because I'm a Mets and a Knicks fan. So I bought some things like while I was out there because I can't get them out here very easily. But the most exciting thing happened to me. Do you know what happened to me, Bruce?
What?
We were in the MLB store at Rockefeller Center, right? We go in, we're shopping, we're walking around, and who is there? Do you know who I saw?
Who?
Mr. and Mrs. Met, the mascots, were
Oh
there.
my God! Did you see a picture? There you
I
should.
got yes. I went. I'm like 50 years old, and I'm like charging forward. I'm like knocking kids over because I want to meet Mr. Met, and I yell over like, Claire, get over here! It's Mr. and Mrs. Met, and we got pictures. It was so cool. I like one of the greatest moment of my life. I met Mr. and Mrs. Met.
Yeah, and we all are like that. It depends.
Yes.
For some people, it's Ben Affleck. For
Yes.
some, whatever it might be. But I love that, and that's what I think is so energetic about going to New York. Is
Yes.
you're going to have a moment that will be memorable forever. I'm going in May. We
Awesome.
go every year in May and see the new shows, and I'm just now getting through the reservations for everything. You worry about planes because
Yep.
will the TSA be there? What will happen? And
Right.
how long is the line? And then hotels. Hotels are difficult to get this time of year. So,
Yeah.
so I'm trying to get all of those ducks in a row, as they say. But
Yep.
I'm excited. I'm excited to see the new shows.
No,
But
that's
I'm
great.
jealous of you. So just know that whenever you need that moment to feel, I'm better than Bruce. Just know you've been to New York and I haven't. So
Yeah.
well,
So we're
next,
gonna wrap things up, but
yeah.
you've been watching some shows. So what are we gonna be talking about in the next couple of weeks?
Well, I hope I interviewed people from The Testaments. This is the sequel to The Handmaid's Tale, and fascinating. If you've never watched The Handmaid's Tale, you don't need to know because it's very contained, and it has just certain ones that they focus on, and it tells you a story, and it's a thriller of sorts, and lets you know where that whole world is sitting, and it's closer to reality than you think, to be honest with you.
Oh boy.
So I had that, and then I looked at the Madison with Michelle Pfeiffer. Talked to her.
Yep.
Malcolm in the Middle, the revival of that, Hacks, and we've talked about the comeback too. And so there are a lot of things. This is the time for those series. I don't know why they're so hot now, but I think they all want to wind up in May, which is a sweeps period, and that's where they could really tell, how well did we do. So that's why we're getting a big rush of TV series. In the movie world, it's a lot of Super Mario Brothers is out there. We'll be getting into The Devil Wears Prada.
Yep.
Part 2. And so, yeah, there's stuff to see everywhere. Just know that I'm nutty at this point. I've seen too much.
Well, on that note, thank you all for listening, and we'll be back again next week with another episode of Streamed and Screened.